Hi, my name is Gavin. I'm one of the design leads here at Wildebloom, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to get nice, even gathering on the bottom of your tiered skirt or in any place that you might feel you want to add gathering to your garment. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take the bigger piece that we want to gather and we're going to do 2 running stitches along the length of this piece at the largest stitch setting on your machine. On my machine, that's 4. On your machine, it could be a 5 or even a 6, whatever is the biggest number here. You want this stitch to be at about 1/2 centimeter or 1/4 of an inch, something more on the inside of this foot so that later when we connect it in, it'll be hidden in the seam allowance. It's not going to be visible. Leave those tails nice and long because we're going to pull on them and we're going to tie them, so we don't want them to be short. It'll make it really difficult. Nice long tail, and we're going to do the same thing one more time. This time being sure to go very nearby to that stitch, not going outside our 1 centimeter line. You can use the edge of your foot here as a guide because that's just inside the 1 centimeter line, so we're still going to keep that within the seam allowance. Long tails once again. So now our stitching looks like this. Next, what we're going to do is take the tails that are on one end and we're going to take the top and the bottom and we're going to tie them together into a knot. This is going to make it so that when we pull from the other side, we don't get any sort of loosening on this side. It's all going to hold in place. Otherwise, we'll just yank these threads right out because the stitch is so loose. There we go. Nice little knot. Now we're going to work our way to the other side of the fabric, to these tails over here, and we're going to separate them out to get the ones that are on the wrong side of the fabric. So the ones on the top of our fabric we're going to let go, and the ones on the underside of our fabric is what we're going to pull on. While we pull, we're just going to slide our finger along the fabric like this, and you can see it's already starting to gather. Just keep working it all the way down, and don't worry right now about the evenness of the gathers because we're going to go back through after we get it to the right measurement. When you're pulling, if you start to feel a lot of tension, do be careful because it is easy to wind up snapping these threads, and that's going to make your life very difficult. So what we want to do is pull when we feel tension. We want to ease it through and just keep doing that. Repeat the process and take your time. You will eventually get it to the position that you want it to be. A lot of times I recommend gathering more than you think you need to so that when it's time to go back to the regular fabric, you have some room to play with. So now we have our base, which we wanted to gather into, and we have the piece that we've gathered. So what we're going to go ahead and do is loosen up these gathers until we get to the point where the edges match up to each other. A little bit more. Still not worrying about the evenness of our gathers, just trying to get that measurement correct. If you undo it too much, don't worry, just pull on these again. That's looking great. Now we're going to tie off the other side as well. Tied once. I usually like to tie it twice. Okay, looking great. So now our gathers are not quite evenly distributed. Because we have both edges tied, we don't have to worry about anything coming loose. So we can go ahead and spread those out, just get it as even as we can visually. How it looks now is basically how it's going to look once it's in your garment. So it's important to take your time at this step and get those gathers looking as good as possible. When I see it here, I feel happy with that. So I'm ready to attach it to the body. To attach to the body, we're going to go right sides together and go ahead and pin that into place. So we're going to put in our pins, lining up our edge here and our edge down here. You're going to see some overlap at the edge here, but as long as your 2 pieces match up at your seam allowance line, you're not going to have any issues. That's our gathered side. This is our non-gathered side. We've got these together, right sides together. We're going to go ahead and place this on the machine with our gathering side down. This way, the presser foot doesn't push the gathering into any sort of funky distribution. Before we start, we're going to go ahead and turn our stitch length back to 2.5 or 3 or 2, whatever you prefer. Of course, a couple of back tacks is always necessary. You can use your hand on the left side underneath to make sure that you're lining up your two edges here. And take your time. As you come to your pins, be sure to pull them out. We don't want a broken needle. And there we have it. All that's left is a little ironing, and this is going to look beautiful. If you do wind up with one of these little gather stitches coming through, don't worry about it. What we can go ahead and do is unpick just a couple of stitches there. We'll pull that out because we don't need it anymore now that we've already gathered in the fabric. Of course, if you'd rather, you can always unpick a little bit and shift it up. Now that our gathering piece is constructed, when it comes to pressing, we don't want to put any pressure on these pleats that we have in here, because that's going to make them look flat and squished, and it's not going to look as beautiful and nice. So what we want to do is only press on this upper part of the seam. So we'll take our iron and we're just going to put it right up to the edge. And you can use your other hand if you need to press it back. Just right up to the edge, being very careful not to go past our stitch line and put any pressure on those pleats. As you can see, I've creased my fabric a little bit here. That's no problem. Just go back over it. And there we have it. A nice, beautiful, gathered seam. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson, and happy making.